car dealers, am I right? I mean, you gotta hate them. Well, this week, 2 car dealers in New Hampshire were arrested for something that just about any dealer, I mean, it could happen to just about anybody, and I'm gonna tell you in today's video what happened to them, what mistakes they made, and what scams you need to look out for. Geez, I mean, I feel for these guys and I feel for the consumers. This is huge news in my state. My name is Craig from Flying Wheels. I own a small car dealership. I'm gonna let you in on all the secrets of what's going on in the world of car dealers today, what to look for if you're a buyer, consumer, car dealer yourself. Ooh, geez, big news in the car dealer world today. Let's get going. So hey, welcome to Flying Wheels. My name is Craig from Flying Wheels. I own a small car dealership, car lot, whatever you want to call it. I have my dealer's license. And with my dealer's license, it allows me to buy and sell cars to the consumers without actually having to put the title in my name. What does that mean? Well, if I buy a car from auction or if I buy a car from you, I can sign on the back of the title from you, Peter, whatever, over to Flying Wheels. And then when Joe buys it, I can sign it from Flying Wheels to Joe. Now that takes away from me actually having to go to the DMV and title every vehicle in our dealer's name, which is very time consuming and costly. So I can move the title from you through me, I'm a pass-through, to the next purchaser. Well, that title's really, really important. And recently this week, 2 car dealers in New Hampshire were arrested, like mug shots, handcuffs, everything for skipping titles, holding titles, not transferring titles to the owner. I'm gonna go through all of it in this video, but it's a really, really big deal because 2 car dealers were put in jail over this, and it's all over the news. Like, their faces are blasted on social media and blasted on the television. It's wild because I see these guys at the auction all the time. So let me just dive right into it. So yes, I have a Cadillac limo that is actually being sold, and I can't park it in a regular spot. That's why I have to park there. But there's a Mercedes over there. There's a Kia, an Infiniti, a Subaru, a Chevy, a GMC, whatever. It keeps going. All of these cars I own, and I have a title to every single one of these cars. So if you come to Flying Wheels and you're like, hey Craig, I want to buy this Honda Pilot. You come buy it from me, you pay me cash or whatever, you finance it. I sign over the title to you if you pay me cash, or I sign the title over to the bank as the lien holder if you have a loan for it. So let me give a brief explanation on how titles work. A title is issued to the owner of the vehicle. So I'm going to keep using the name Joe. If Joe comes and buys this Honda Pilot and pays me cash, I will sign the title over to Joe. Now the title will be titled in the previous owner's name on the front of the title. When Joe, that previous owner, will have then sold it to Flying Wheels, and Flying Wheels will sell it to Joe. So on the back of the title, it will say Flying Wheels sold from Jen, and then from Flying Wheels sold to Joe. When Joe pays me cash, I give him the title, and his name is on the back. He will also get a title application. He will go to his DMV or RMV or town hall, and he will register the Honda Pilot, and it will go in his name. Then Joe's state will issue Joe a new title in his name for that Honda Pilot. Now, I hope that makes sense to you, meaning the person's name on the front of the title is the owner. Then if you follow the paper trail down the back, you can follow the owners that it's been reassigned to from there. Now, if I never give Joe that title to the Honda Pilot, he will never actually own that vehicle because he won't be able to transfer that title over to his state to get the new title in his name for his Honda Pilot. Now, Craig, why would you have not given him the title? Okay, so there are a lot of variables in this situation. Now, number one, I may not have the title. And if I don't have the title, I'm not legally allowed to sell the car, which is why these car dealers were arrested, and I'm going to get into that very soon. Now, if Joe pays me cash, I give him the title, he takes it, he goes across the border, registers the titles in his state. If he buys it and he is a New Hampshire resident, my state resident, I will do the title application for him. So Joe will actually never see the title aside from signing his name on the back. I send the title application along with the previous owner's title up to my state DMV title clerk. They will then send Joe a new title from New Hampshire in Joe's name. Now, in a lot of dealer fees or processing fees or paper fees or title application fees, all those like extra fees that you may see, or whatever you title it, that pays for the title application. So when Joe bought the Pilot, say there's a dealer fee associated with it, that goes towards the cost of mailing the title up, that goes towards the cost of the title application, which I pay for. It pays for the processing and the time for my title clerk to do it or hand deliver it or type it up. all those fees, that's what it normally goes to. Now, Joe is trusting that I am going to send that title up to the state title clerk for them to issue his new title for him. Now, as a dealer, we have a lot of responsibilities. There are a lot of laws that we have to follow. We've taken a lot of dealer classes, and to be quite honest with you, I'm audited regularly by a state trooper that comes out. He looks at my titles, he reads my books, he makes sure that I'm on the up and up and I'm doing everything correctly. Are all the signatures in the right places? Are all the titles to all the cars you have here present? Are all the titles present to all the cars that you have here? And if I sell that Honda Pilot, I'm required to have the title application and the title mailed to my New Hampshire title clerk within 10 business days. Here's where it gets tricky. My state is cracking down on dealers that are not delivering the titles to their customers. And if you don't do it, clearly you get arrested. So let me get into them right now, and then I'm explain a little bit more how difficult it is to actually be a dealer. This is a perfect example, which I will dive into after I talk about the people that were just arrested. Now, I'm not going to put anybody on blast, and I'm not going to call anybody out. You can Google this yourself, because unfortunately their names and faces are blasted all over the internet, and I just feel for these guys. So just going down, New Hampshire car dealer arrested, which is just wacky, because I mean, it could happen to anybody, although obviously they were doing something wrong. So just top of the Google, it says troopers arrested blank 42 of Plastow, an owner of blank in Hampstead. So that's this car dealership. So he's right up the road from me. On Tuesday, after investigators learned that this person also did not provide a certificate of title for a vehicle that he had sold to a new owner within the time required by law, 10 days. And obviously the troopers in the state are cracking down on this because it happened to a second person in the same week, and I'm sure that there's going to be more to follow. The title of the heading in the Boston News says second New Hampshire auto dealership owner arrested for not providing vehicle titles after sale. A second auto dealership in New Hampshire has been arrested for not providing a certificate of title to a customer after selling a vehicle, and state police said there may be more victims. This person, 29 of Newton, who lives right up the road and an owner of this dealership, which is right up the road, was arrested on a warrant without incident and charged with 1 count of anti-theft laws. No title to transfer, state police said. Troopers arrested this person on Wednesday after investigators learned that this person failed to provide a certificate of title for a vehicle he had sold to a new owner within the time required by law, 10 days. His arrest came one day after troopers arrested another New Hampshire auto dealership owner on similar charges. Now, I noticed one of these car dealerships were completely closed. There is no inventory at all at their dealership a few weeks ago. I'm like, what? And I noticed, and I said to myself, what the heck is going on over there? They're a big dealer on the auto mile in my area. This person's facing 2 counts of anti-theft laws, no title transfer, and failure to deliver title applications, police said. This person and the other person, this dealer and the other dealer, are both scheduled to be arraigned on the 6th District Court in Concord on July 12th and June 28th. And then goes their mugshot. Jeez. Investigators are concerned there may be additional victims who have yet made reports to police, that the state police said. Anyone with information about this case or potential additional cases is encouraged to contact the detective, which is just wild. Now they're like trolling for more dealers to get in trouble. Now, there are laws to be followed, there are requirements, there are things we need to do as a licensed dealer to maintain our licenses, and we have to follow the rules. There are no loopholes, there are no exceptions. And I've actually had titles that were late. You know, I might have been past the 10 days, but within 30 days because they sat on my desk for too long or something, and we get a fine. So it's normally like a $25 fine, and we pay the fee for being late, and that's it. Clearly something bigger has been happening here, or maybe they're cracking down and it's no longer a $25 fee, which is scary for me. Now, here's what's much harder on this person's business and probably why he needed to close. Think about how difficult it is to market your business, to get yourself positive Google reviews, to build yourself a brand. Now, are people going to click on your business name because they're looking for a car dealership? No. But if the top heading is car dealer blank, this business name, arrested, that's a big deal. And nobody's gonna buy from you anymore when they see that name out there. Hey, this car dealer was arrested for not turning in titles. Why would I go buy a vehicle from them? That basically shuts your business down. It's bad PR. It is bad marketing for your business. forever. And once it's on the internet, it is on the internet forever, including your mugshot, your business name, and your personal name, and oftentimes your home address. Now, this is on the Boston News, website. Obviously, every New Hampshire newspaper and news article, and televised, and it was televised news reports as well. Here it is on the New Hampshire DOS.gov website, which is even scarier. A Plastow auto dealership owner arrested. That is the next town from me. An owner on a Rockingham County automotive dealership who neglected to provide a customer with a certificate of title following a vehicle sale is facing a criminal charge. Earlier today, May 15th, a member of Troop Investigations Unit arrested this person. He's only 29 years old. After investigators received information that this person, an owner of the dealership, failed to provide a certificate of title for a vehicle that he sold to a new owner within the time required by law. This person was arrested on a warrant without incident and charged with 1 count of anti-theft laws. No title or transfer. It's a misdemeanor offense. But honestly, it's a misdemeanor offense. Okay, so he's not getting a felony, but he's gonna get more than a slap on the wrist, and now forever his name is blasted along with his business all over the internet. Investigators are concerned that there may be additional victims, and now they're looking for more people. And this is on the New Hampshire State Police website. Now, everybody hates used car dealers, right? It's like car dealers, attorneys, and whatever. We're an easy target. Nobody likes us, okay? We're always scammers, and I want to thank Danny DeVito for that, and let's thank Kurt Russell for that, and let's just generally thank car dealers for giving us a bad name. Now, I told you how easy it could be to get yourself in this situation as a car dealer. Let me explain what happened. Never mind my junk cars over there. This GMC Terrain, you'll see that it has a for sale sign in the window. We took this in trade about 60 days ago. So a customer traded it in. They had a payoff, meaning they had a loan on it. So they bought a car and they traded in a car, but they still had a loan on it. So when we give them money towards their trade-in, instead of giving them the money, we'll actually go pay off their loan for them with their bank. So we'll send the payoff amount to their bank or their credit union for their vehicle, along with a payoff affidavit stating, please mail the title to Flying Wheels or to the dealer. Now the problem is this Terrain was $8,500. That's what the payoff was. So we went out of our pocket, paid $8,500 for this car to the bank. There's no sense of urgency for them to send us the title. They just do it when it's convenient for them. So until we receive the title from the bank, now we have to write a check, we have to send the check in, let it process, let it sit on somebody's desk until they decide to send us the title, let it get mailed to us, and then we receive the title. That can take up to 45 days, which is what happened. 45 days later, $8,500 has just been sitting. I can't use it. It's just tying up money. I cannot sell this until the title shows up. Now, it's good as gold. We know we're going to get the title, and we can even see that our check was processed online. We know that it was cash, but we don't have the title in our possession. So what happens if a customer comes in and they're looking at a Nissan Rogue and they're like, no, I don't like this Nissan Rogue, so I like the GMC Terrain. Can I buy it? I want to buy it today. I have $10,000 in cash right now. Now that's tempting because a bird in the bush is better than 2 in the hand. Wait, did I say that right? A bird in the hand is better than 2 in the bush, right? That car might not sell for $10,000 after we get the title. So we have somebody with cash in hand ready to buy this. We know we're going to get the title. Will we get the title within 10 days to mail it up within time, or will we not? That's the gamble. Now legally, we're not allowed to do that. We have to wait till the title is in our possession. So that puts us in a very sticky situation where you have to tell the customer, I'm sorry, your cash is no good on that car. How about you buy the Rogue? I don't want the Rogue. Never mind, I'm leaving. So now we don't have the sale. We don't have the $10,000 in our pocket. We still have $8,500 tied up into this vehicle. And then once we receive the title, we have to then go find a new buyer to go buy this car because let's face it, the person that was originally interested in it, they moved on. They found something else. So it puts us in bad situations regularly because we only have 10 days to get it to the title clerk in our state. Now, other states are different. Florida allows 30 days to get the title, which is a little bit more helpful. I'm also going to dive a little bit deeper into this. That Hyundai, that Audi, that Pilot, I bought those all from a dealer auction locally. Luckily, the title was in on all 3 cars. The title was present. When I buy a car at the auction, I buy them title in-house or title absent. Blue light, they would announce blue light if the title is absent, meaning they don't have the title in-house. So if I buy any of those 3 cars at the auction and put all my money out on those 3 cars at the auction and I don't get a title, I can't sell those cars, meaning I have to sit on them till the title shows up. And the dealer that sold it to me through the auction might be in that situation right there waiting on a title, or it might be that situation right there where it was a repossession and they're waiting for the title to show up. So they sold it to me through the auction. Now the auction has 2 weeks to get it to me. That's what they say, 14 days, 2 weeks of auction. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes it's 3 weeks, sometimes it's 4 weeks. And meanwhile, I might have gone and inspected those cars and done repairs to them and reconned them, reconditioned them, detailed them, get them ready. Well, you're not supposed to do that. Because what happens if I put $1,000 into brake work and reconditioning costs and oil change and all kinds of services, and that title doesn't show up from the auction? Well, the auction will call me and say, actually, they won't call me. I'll realize the title's not in. I'll call the auction and go, yeah, I guess it's not here. You're welcome to return the car. Well, I don't want to return the car. I'm $1,000 into services. Well, the title's not here, so you can either bring it back or you can just keep waiting. So we just keep waiting. But in the meantime, we can't sell it. So you can see how easily it is. Now, I don't have a lot of cars here, but you can see how easily it can get confusing. Like, I have to make sure that I have a title for all of these cars before it gets listed for sale. And it can actually get more confusing than that, because I'm going to use these 3 cars again. For example, if I bought all 3, 4, 5 cars at the same auction on Thursday, which is when I go to the auction, the titles might just not be ready. So I might go there and buy 5 cars, transport them all home, but the titles might not be ready to be signed over. So I'm like, oh, just mail them to me. And then they mail them to me. Or they don't, because the title's not in-house, and then you start to forget about, like, you have to keep track. What title do you have? What title do you not have? So then you'd go and sell the Hyundai and then realize, oh my God, I don't even have the title to that car, which has not happened to me because we are very diligent with our title work. But you can see how simply it could happen if you have a lot of vehicles. Like, you have to keep track of every title for every single car before you can list it for sale. So before you take pictures of it and before you list it, you have to check your title book to make sure you have the title for that vehicle. Now, I told you the auction I work with has 14 days. And if I don't get the title, then I can just return the car, right? I mean, it's really not fair to the dealer. Everything's in favor of the auction house, whatever. It is what it is. It actually gets worse than that. You may recognize this Mercedes right here. I bought this from an auction, one of the biggest auctions in the entire country. I bought it in Orlando, Florida in December. Yes, I still have it. We finally got it ready for sale. It will be a whole other video. Well, when I bought it from that auction, they don't actually have the title in-house. It gets shipped to their main facility. The main facility is in like Georgia or something, and then it gets processed, and from there, it gets shipped to my dealership. So they take my check, they cash my check, then I have to ship this car to New Hampshire, and then eventually I get the title. They have 30 days to get it to me, and then I can sell this car. So I will now have a vehicle that I bought shipped to me, and then I have to hope the title shows up. And if there's a title issue, I have to send the car back. So I shipped it to me, I have to ship it back. It should be on the buyer, and sometimes it is, but in most cases, it's up to me to get it back to Florida if the title doesn't show up or if there's a title issue. So you can see how it's really not in the favor of the dealer. Aha, it gets worse. Teaser to some upcoming videos. I bought this at the Barrett-Jackson auction in Florida last month. I also bought this Humvee H1 at the Barrett-Jackson auction in West Palm Beach last month too. Now, I said last month, it's actually been over a month because I bought it in West Palm Beach, but the home quarters for Barrett-Jackson is actually, I think, in Arizona. So even though I bought it in West Palm Beach and paid for it in West Palm Beach, they couldn't give me the title on the spot because they take the titles, they mail them to Scottsdale, Arizona facility, it gets processed over there, and then from there it gets mailed to me. It's been a month and a half. I still don't have a title to that Humvee or that Mercedes. There's over $40,000 in cars right there that I cannot sell. So it's just tying up $40,000 of my money until the titles show up. And I have to hope that everything's okay. Meantime, I shipped them both back to New Hampshire. So it ties up a lot of money. So let me just say this, $40,000 in those 2 cars tied up, I cannot sell them. Now, last week I received the title to this, but it was $8,500 that was just sitting. So now we're at $48,500 just in 3 cars that I can't sell. That's my money not making me any money, tying up real estate spots that should have cars for sale. So it gets really, really expensive as a dealer to have all these cars, as well as being time consuming because you're playing a game of do I or do I not have a title? And if I don't, let me go chase it on every single piece of inventory you own. Now, I have a small car lot. Imagine having a car lot with 20, 30, 40, 50, hundreds of cars even. It gets really confusing and really, really difficult. Now, I'm not defending the 2 dealers that were arrested. I'm sure there was a very, very thorough investigation. I'm sure they were repeat offenders. I don't think it would happen your first time. And in general, there are dealers that will just sell cars without a title. So I'm not saying that everybody is okay and that nobody is doing anything wrong. It's out there. And obviously there was an investigation, and obviously they were looked into thoroughly prior to this. I am saying, however, there is nothing in the favor of the car dealers. So it's really, really scary to be in a position like mine, where I know these two guys that I see every week at the auction got arrested, and I have to hope that everyone in my office is doing the right thing. I have to hope that Lauren, who knows what she's doing, doesn't sell a car that we don't have a title for. I hope that I have all the titles, that I'm following up regularly to make sure I have all the titles for all the cars, which we do. It's scary to think that two regular dealers were arrested for something that's not in their favor. Like, it is just not in our favor. As a dealer, there are a lot of laws and a lot of rules you have to follow. There's a lot of requirements and just a lot of responsibility in general. It's a lot of pressure. So we have to always hope that we're following the right rules, the right guidelines. And I make these videos. It's just stressful to always know that you are following the rules, you are following the laws, and there are still little things that you might miss, that you could make a mistake on and then end up in jail with your face plastered all over the internet, which just slashes your name. I'm hoping for our sake that these people did actually do something wrong. I'm hoping for their sake they didn't, but it's scary. Like, you'll see my inspection sign right here. I have insane inspection requirements for my license that I have to follow. And if I mistake it, if I miss something, the troopers are at my door in a heartbeat, and it is scary every time they show up. And they never show up to say, hey, Craig, you're doing a great job. They show up to say, hey, Craig, do I need to slap those silver bracelets on you today? Which is just discouraging. It's scary. You try to follow every single rule, and to see two peers be arrested for something that, like, we're in charge of these same exact things. I know I follow the rules, and I just hope that, like, what we're doing is the correct way. I've taken title classes, and what they were doing is the wrong way. So, geez, if you're a car dealer, follow the rules. I want you to see how important it is to follow the regulations, to make sure you're doing everything by the book, because they don't take the stuff lightly. And if you're a consumer, you're supposed to get a title. That's how the titles work. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope it was informative. I know I can talk a lot. This one really hits home for me because I know these guys. It's the next two towns surrounding me. They're both my age, and I see them every single week. So, oh, and if you haven't subscribed, please click the button down below to subscribe for anything auto related. And just a like for this video is really appreciated. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all later.